after just about 7 and almost a half season, they give Spike wings. I am quite surprised by all this. Like, this is the one thing that sort of kind of catches me off guard, was it had to be soon enough that they had to give him wings or so, because he is a dragon after all, and it is part of mythology, if I remember right, that they grow wings, but that's what I think. But anyways, yeah, we got an episode where essentially they talk about puberty. Kinda. And essentially, this is probably the big one that obviously is the most interesting out of the whole bunch. I mean, quite surprising that they decide to make this episode. And it's called Meltdown, which essentially is just an episode where Spike winds up going through puberty, and he winds up with all these symptoms, like, sort of like zits, and places that makes him want to scratch it and can't resist from scratching himself. It has a bad odor to it, almost like he needs deodorant. Just all these little things that obviously resembles puberty a lot. And pretty much everyone goes through puberty. But this is the first time Spike Spike finds out about it, and he gets surprised by all of this. Not to say that is a bad idea, that puberty is bad or anything, like it's the mark of the devil or something like that. I mean, it's pretty normal. But pretty much it's Spike trying to resist going to the core for the solution, but he gives in anyways. But a giant monster winds up coming in and decides, well, actually not decide, but essentially what one of Ember's dragon kids that has to go through the friendship school. I mean, don't forget, we actually have the school of 6 to deal with in this season. But anyways, it's from there that we find out that she knows what happens. But it is a different trait and a different ideology on what these dragons do. So, such as the fact, I swear this is going to become a tradition, is the fact that they have to go through a certain, like, phase where essentially once they get that little piece of puberty, they get kicked out and they're attacked by a big beast and have to try their hardest to avoid said beast. Which in turn, with the fact that Spike winds up having no wings since the beginning of the show, it was a matter of time till he had to face the puberty and wind up growing wings. Which is the case that happens right here in the entirety of the show. And it had to happen sometime. And for the most part, the way we see things, I'd say for the most part, it's pretty shocking knowing that Spike had wings. I mean, unless there are these, like, very few people. I mean, there could be very few people who are subscribed here who have seen the leaks, and again, I will lose respect for anyone who winds up leaking a spoiler for the episodes. And it really gets me ticked off when somebody decides they want to go and spoil the episode for everyone, and it's really shameful and really a complete disgrace if anybody does that. I have a friend on Discord who's actually seen the leaks and just almost every episode and knows every information about the upcoming episodes. I'm not going to say it here, but he knows what's going to happen, and thankfully, he won't spoil them. But anyways, Meltdown, we wind up seeing that the monster winds up deciding, which actually the monster sort of kind of looks like a big eagle. I don't know, that's probably just me. But anyways, the monster winds up essentially attacking Zakara and Rarity, and Twilight has to figure out how to defeat it. But it doesn't take long until Spike gets encased by cement or something. Okay. And from there he winds up growing wings from there, and essentially he can now fly and breathe fire, which kind of good for him. But there were earlier episodes where essentially he could light up fireplaces and use magic to send letters to Celestia. I mean, think back to Apple Family Reunion where I think it was Applejack or Big Mac, I forget what it was, but there's this little tidbit where one of them basically lights up Spike, and it kind of looks like they're lighting him up like a lighter or something. Which, if you haven't seen a lighter, essentially it's that little cogwheel, and just spin it and it'll blow out fire if done properly. But anyways, he winds up growing wings, he's able to breathe fire, they wind up defeating the bug eagle monster thingy, and essentially they wind up flying out of... It winds up going away, Twilight feels proud of all this, and essentially Rarity makes her dress, and somehow Spike winds up making for a good model for basically her to make more dresses. Now, I think with the wings, it sort of kind of helps with that, so she doesn't need to use a mannequin, but that's where it all ends for the half of the season. Or does it? Yeah. Apparently, they announced on Equestria Daily that we've got 2 more episodes until the show is finished. Now, some of you who are probably looking at their guides right now are scratching their heads and being like, what new episodes? I mean, there was nothing in my guide saying there was no new episodes on it. Well, that's where the guides, depending on which service you're on, gets it all wrong. Like, let me show you. So obviously I have Xfinity as my new service and whatnot. But as we see here, this is next week, June 2nd. This is the new episode next week. New information has basically come out saying that the mid-season finale, which is the Mean Six, and this has been confirmed by Equestria Daily, but not through any other sources, they essentially say that this is the new episode for next week. If I go into the information to look this up, and this is the entirety of the episode guide, we can see that they don't show it. I don't know whether or not this is a guide issue or something that is happening with this, like they aren't calibrating the information properly, but this is a complete and utter disgrace. I don't know why they're doing this, but like TV Guide, whatever they're using for the program guide, they need to get their crap straight. Like, really, they gotta get this straight. They gotta get this fixed out or something. Like, I've never seen anything like this be broken before. And I thought the guides and the guides and everything in between were bad on Dish. But, like, not knowing the information of the upcoming episodes, but thankfully I see these episodes live, but I still record them just in case I miss them. But the fact they don't show me the information, that is cool! I mean, it's like the beginning, like a couple of episodes, they didn't list it under the Friendship is Magic name, they just listed as My Little Pony. It's completely disgraceful and disrespectful for anybody who's trying to watch the show properly. Like, I hate it. Really, I do. But anyways, with that out of the way, I needed to vent that quickly. But you're on seeing this, so you probably didn't see the vent. But anyways, still, we're confirmed for 2 more episodes until we wind up going into our mid-season hiatus. So I'll see you next week for the all-new episode, which this ought to be interesting to see how the Kinema Crusaders wind up deciding they want to go to Twilight School. So that'd be interesting, but what about Miss Cheerilee? It's like she's completely out of a job now. But we don't supposed to focus on that now. For now, let's settle on just making everything proper with this. We'll continue next week for the all-new episode, and then the week after that with the mid-season finale, which I'm excited for. But what did you think of Meltdown, if you actually saw it? But just leave the comments down below, and I will, I will see you next week for the all-new episode of the show and whatnot. And if you're wondering, I am working on the Everfree vlogs. It's been a little slow, but I'm currently rendering the panels and the musician stuff from Pony Stock and the one clip from the gala, but that's just because it's just because I want to get these out of the way quickly, so I'm not putting them in chronological order. And there's like many of people who are looking forward to these panels, so priority number 1 is get these panels out, as well as the musician sessions. Musician sessions. I can't speak English for the life of me right now. But anyways, sorry for the little ramble and whatnot. I just need to get some updates out of the way. But anyways, see you guys next week for the all-new episode. So, goodbye.